Okay, so I guess we can now start. Just a quick mic check. Please, Alice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, cool, thanks. So welcome everyone to today's session. We'll be having an introduction to Android, getting to understand what it takes to build Android applications, and just a simple walkthrough on how to set it up. And hopefully by the end of the session, be able to make a simple Android app. So yeah, so some of the expectations I have, or some of the things that I hope or imagine that we'll achieve by the end of the session, is set up a working environment for where we can begin writing some code for Android applications, and just generally increase our knowledge on some of the tools that are required in the process of development, and I guess at the end make a simple Android application. So a bit about who I am. My name is Christine Wasike, and I'm the current 2020-2021 Developer Student Club Lead here at ALU. I'm also a CS major in my third year. Yeah, should you feel the need to reach out to me, my email is indicated there. And yeah, so let's dive right in. So some of the basic things that we need to think about when starting development in Android specifically is having basic computer literacy. So this can range anywhere between knowing how to use a computer, like the connecting to internet and so on, as well as yeah, some basic math skills. So be prepared to have your computer and headphones on, and as I mentioned, a good internet connection would be highly advised. Optionally, you can have an Android device, so this could be your Android mobile phone as well as a USB cable, and yeah, that is where essentially you'll be able to see your Android applications while you're developing it. So using the USB cable to connect to your computer where you'll be writing out your code, and having your mobile phone for you to display the application that you'll be building or working on. Yeah, so as mentioned, like, why are we here? Like, why is it important for us to and this? So let's just take a moment to think about some of these questions, and if you have any thoughts or expectations that you have for this session, just feel free to unmute and share your thoughts, or even in the chat, I can read it out later. So yeah. So as well, what are your goals and how do you plan to achieve them? Yeah.
Christine,
Yes.
yeah, there's a question in the chat box.
Yeah, I've seen it's coming from Cedric, so yeah, we'll take a look at that. Okay, so any more thoughts coming into the chat? So far I've seen Fatmata raise some of her goals and thoughts, and Cedric has a question. So yeah, so is there anyone who'd like to unmute and probably just talk more about their thoughts before I read out what's in the chat? Okay. Yeah, let me just read out what's in the chat. So Alice said that she'd like to learn how to develop Android mobile applications, and that being in this session is a starting point in achieving them. So yeah, I mean, that's a really great goal, and yeah, something to remember like throughout the session. Just keep it in mind and let it push you forward. So Cedric has a question in regards to why DC choose to use Kotlin for this particular development as opposed to something else. So yeah, so in this particular track, we'll be focusing purely on Android development. Initially, the most popular programming language was Java, and Kotlin slowly grew afterwards. And the main reason why we chose to use it, or rather, why it's a lot more popular these days, is just the fact that it's less verbose, in that there isn't too much writing or coding involved, as opposed to Java, where in order for you to achieve small input, it needs you to write a lot of code, which can be tasking for the developer, and just a lot more rigorous in comparison to Kotlin, which is a lot easier to write and more intuitive, and just less declarative in writing a lot more code. So I hope that answers the question in regards to the choice of Kotlin. But yeah, so just more generally, I guess another question that could arise is why we didn't choose to focus on Flutter. So the simple answer is just that it's specific Android mobile track. However, Flutter could be another point to look into. Just also depends on the community and how ready or susceptible it is to learning the programming language. So yeah, just more on the chat. I see Cedric was written that I believe that this is an opportunity for me to do mobile dev from a Kotlin perspective. Yeah, like that's a great way of thinking about it. Or yeah, it's really good. And Frank, so from my side, I'm here to get skills for Android development so that I can start implementing them in my project sooner. Okay, I'll achieve them following up with sessions like this, and being in an active community may help. Awesome. So that's really great to hear, Frank. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully the sessions reach or match your expectations as you'd imagined. So awesome. So some of the learning objectives for this particular session would be to build your fast Android application. So let's talk about how you learn as part of this new track. So the goal is to build your fast app, as mentioned, and to do this you need to install Android Studio on your computer, which is an application to build Android apps. Along the way, you'll be exposed to programming concepts and programming concepts in the Kotlin language. So yeah, at the end, we'll ask you to talk about resources on how you can continue. We will talk about resources and how you can continue learning and building apps beyond this event. So just to reiterate on the schedule for today, we'll be diving into the fast pathway, which will be Kotlin, have a small break, then look into developing the fast Android application, and if we have time, we can look at the basics of the layout and celebrate the wins. Yeah, after that. So begin working with the Andriod basics in the Kotlin course, and this is a free online training course developed by Google for people like yourself to learn how to build basic Android apps. So this course is made up of units, and units are composed of pathways. So in this track, we'll be focusing on the first unit, which is shown here. It's made up of 4 pathways. In session 1, you'll work on the first 3 pathways. That's introduction to Kotlin, creating your first app, build a basic layout. Then in the second session, we'll work on the 4th pathway, which is slightly longer. Yeah. So maybe wondering what is a pathway. So in an ordered sequence of activities to learn. It's basically an ordered sequence of activities to learn a specific skill. So an activity can be a video, a hands-on coding tutorial, or a code lab. It could be an article, it could be a quiz. So you can see at least 4 activities in this pathway. Yeah, all these activities are meant to help you reach specific learning objectives by the end of this pathway. Yeah, so there's a quiz at the end of the pathway to check your understanding of what you've learned, and this is a sample of what that quiz would look like. There are no limits to the number of retries of a quiz, because essentially it's supposed to check on your understanding. But if you get a question wrong, try to understand what the concept is. Even if you need to look back at the source material, do so before answering the question. Yeah, and a more exciting thing is that after you pass the quiz, you earn a badge. So like this one, it just keeps you motivated in terms of your learning. So the badges can be saved to your developer profile, which we'll look into after this. And when you're taking the course, be sure to sign in. It's in the top right corner. I'll share the link shortly, and create a developer profile if you haven't already. It's very quick to create. So as you earn more badges, you can see them on your profile and you can favorite them as shown here. Yeah. So the concept overview. So now that you're familiar with the learning platform, or yeah, before that, let me just share the link in the chat for just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. I'm just getting the link so we can be able to set this up. Yeah, so I've just put the link on the chat, so you should be able to make your profiles from here, and yeah, we can begin. So I guess I'll give us about like 3 to 5 minutes just to set that up, and when you have it ready, just type ready in the chat and I'll be able to know that I can move on. Cool.
Christine, Christine,
Yes.
can yeah, I'm getting an error when I'm trying to create a profile. It says this account is not eligible for a Google developer profile. Contact
Come again
for
just
them.
a little louder, please.
Sorry,
Just come again a bit louder. I couldn't hear you properly.
I'm getting an error when trying to create a developer profile.
What's the error?
It says this account is not eligible for a Google developer profile. Contact your organization administrator for support.
Okay. Just try with your personal account and let me know if that works. I'll just drop another link in the chat just to get you directly onto the course, so the Kotlin course. For incoming participants, welcome again. So we've basically just been setting up our profiles on the developer.android.com platform. So yeah, I can see that Cedric is ready. So okay, in the chat as soon as you're ready, just type ready so that you know that I can continue. Awesome. Okay, so we can continue to the concept overview as with the see. So now that you're sort of familiar and at least have your platform set up, let's dive into some important concepts that you'll be learning about. So here we can see that it's about Kotlin programming. So in this course, you'll be learning how to code in Kotlin, which is a programming language that is used to build Android apps. So Kotlin is modern, it's popular, and it's essentially meant to help developers to be more productive. So as it initially mentioned, Java was what was used to make these Android applications, but given that it was very verbose and involved a lot of writing of code, it became harder for developers to be more productive, and hence Kotlin arose. So it's more concise when writing your code, and it's a lot safer, and you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out where your errors come from, because it's easier to spot because it's more intuitive, more English statements. Like, yeah. So as a result, Kotlin has a lot of great features and it's gained momentum in the industry. So it is reported to be one of the fastest programming languages, according to GitHub, and ranked fourth as the most loved programming language among developers, according to Stack Overflow survey in 2020 this year. So the first pathway of this course is focused on helping you understand the basics of Kotlin. So yeah, I'll share a link that has more details should you need to read more. I'll put all of that after the chat. So to make it easier to learn, you'll be writing your code on Kotlin Playground, which can be accessed via the web browser. It's a site that looks something like what's displayed in the slide. And you can write your code in this window and hit the green arrow to run your code. The result of the code is going to, or the output will be at the bottom of the window. And yeah, so let me just give you guys the link and you can begin writing some Kotlin code. Nice, Frank. I love the energy. All right, so I've just put the link in the chat. Feel free to head over there and just as the screen's displayed, write out this code and let's make some magic. Should probably do the same. So if you're currently on this tab, just unmute and say, I'm here. Yeah. Okay, so have you been able to write out the hello world function in Kotlin and run it yet? Okay, okay. Yeah, so I guess when you open the link, the main function and the print statement should already just be there for you. All you have to do is just press the green arrow on your far right and run it to see hello world pop out at the bottom. All right, so awesome. Okay, cool. So now that you've written your first line of code, we can proceed to the second pathway, which is Android Studio. So here we'll create your first app. You'll need to download and install Android Studio on your computer because this is the official tool that professional developers, soon to be yourself, use for Android development. This is why you'll be able to write your Kotlin code and build your applications. So yeah, just let's see if you can get that in. If you have Android Studio already installed on your computer, just feel free to let me know in the chat and we can continue. It's sort of a heavy piece of software, so you could leave it running in the background as you continue, then we'll get to writing the code just a little later. But for now, I'll just give you about 2 minutes to get the link and yeah, let me also just see if I can copy that in the chat as well. All right. So the next step is the Android emulator. In Android Studio, you can also use the Android emulator, which can emulate your various Android devices on your computer. The emulator allows you to run your app, and it provides almost all capabilities that a real Android device would. And if you do have a physical device and want to use it, there are also instructions in the pathway on how to get that set up. So as mentioned, you can either use the emulator, which is available in Android Studio, or use your personal device. That is your Android device and a USB cable. So I'll just put the link to setting up your Android emulator in the chat. Yes. Awesome. So the next is the user interface. So lastly, in Pathway 3, you learn the basic concepts of customizing your user interfaces of a simple app. So the user interface, also known as UI, of your app includes what the app looks like and how the user interfaces interact, or rather how the user interacts with the app. Yeah. So here, we have layouts. So the layout of an app is the design or the arrangement of what the user sees on the screen. In Android layouts, in Android, a layout is also known as a view. So yeah, they're also known as views. Here are some examples of the types of views that are provided by Android. You can see that there's a text view that reads "Hello Android," displays a text. There's an image view which displays an image, and there's also a button which is used to perform actions on that. So these are just a few of the examples of views that are used in Android development. So yeah, let's get started. Uh, I'll get you started on the course. Work at your own pace. If you get stuck, you can ask me any questions, and I'll be available to answer. So we're here to help you in whatever way based on the questions that you have. And if you need help installing Android Studio or getting your app to run on an Android device, again, just feel free to ask for help and we work together to find a solution. Yeah. So we'll start by working on the first pathway in Unit 1 on the Android basics in Kotlin. So you can easily navigate there to see it. So on the course, yeah, so you can start from. So open the course page with a link that you can easily just type this out on your browser, but I will also send another link in the chat, and you will automatically be awarded the badge for attending the Android Study Jam. So save it to your developer page and create a profile if you haven't already. Yeah. Okay, so I've just shared the link to the study jams. Okay, so then under the new programming track, in the left-hand box, you'll click the green button to start the Android course. Yeah. So If you have any questions, just ask. And yeah, follow the link that I shared. That's g.co/Android/study jams to start the Android basics in Kotlin coursework. Work on Unit 1, Pathway 1. Yeah, so we'll just have an in-call session. So I'll just mute myself, keep the call going for just a few more minutes as you work on the pathway. Then we'll get back together in a couple of minutes to proceed on to what's up next. But so far, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute, type in the chat, then I can offer my support and guidance. Yeah. But I hope so far you're learning something and enjoying it overall. Yeah, that's my hope. So just a note, if you're able to finish Unit 1, Pathway 1, which is the Android basics in the Kotlin course, you can feel free to continue with Pathway 2 and Pathway 3. We'll be taking a break at exactly 11:45. That's in 1 minute up until that's until 12. Then we'll debrief and continue on to the second pathway, and we'll pick up from there in the next study jam. So yeah, go on, go forth, and prosper. Okay, so has everybody managed to access the course so far? And pathway one? Just let me know in the chat. Hi again. So, presuming that we've all gone through the basics of Android in Kotlin, it was a very engaging and interesting video to watch. And just from the enthusiasm, it shows you that it is possible to learn it and learn it in a fun way. So, as I'd asked earlier on, it's very important that you understand why you'd want to learn how to make Android application in the first place. Because, as mentioned, it does get challenging, but it's very, very rewarding in the end. So with that, I'd like to it's more of a break from the beginning session, which will divide into 2 days. So this is basically a wrap up. And what I'd like to leave you with is what I'd like to leave you with is the fact that you can proceed with the second pathway and the third. And when we get back, we can talk about some of the things that you learned along the way and get into more of the course. So, once again, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. And yeah, hopefully you learned a thing or two. And it was my pleasure to host you. So, bye, guys.